Okay, so let's answer the question: who's better, car drivers or truck drivers? Answer's coming right up. One of the long-standing issues I see in social media is this crazed animosity between truck drivers and non-truck drivers. A hard truth, however, is that neither side is better or worse than the other, and this unfortunately spurs from a complete lack of education in both sectors. Now, on the side of car drivers, there is almost a complete lack of education as far as many of the dangers of the road. As if this isn't bad enough, a lot of jurisdictions in the United States are now making full driver's education courses optional. Yeah, optional. That's a facepalm moment right there. Are we kidding right now? Fatalities are on a sharp increase as of late, and the answer to the issue is to make learning optional. But it's true. In some states, including the one where I live, they've made it to where if you can just pass the written and driving test, then bam, here's a license to drive. And yeah, how scary is that? Seriously. As far as interaction between general motorists and truck drivers, it's not as if the driver's education courses even helped anyway. I still remember my course, and no part of any of the content was a truck driver ever mentioned. They sure spend a lot of time on motorcycles. You know, the guys we had to share the road with, but they never share the road with us. Never mind. Stop me there. That's a topic for another day. Anyway, so now we have this complete lack of education as to the dangers of being around trucks, but not knowing how to react around them. Not a single driver on the road is taught that trucks need 400 plus feet to stop, and that cutting them off is almost literally asking to get ran over. I mean, here's an example. You're doing 60 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. Don't throw shit at me. I know, it's unrealistic, but this is just for example purposes. Bear with me. I have to keep it textbook. Anyway, you just cut off that semi who was just doing 55 miles an hour, and immediately something from the side pops in front of you. You hit your brakes, and you might have been able to stop in time and think everything's all right up until you get creamed by the semi, also trying to stop, but could not because you got 4 feet in front of his bumper during the lane change, or maybe 10 feet in front of him when you slammed on the brakes. Okay, let me do some math here. Okay, so at 55 miles an hour, it takes a semi 400 feet to stop. I sucked at math in school, but I'm thinking that 10 feet is slightly less than 400 feet. But hey, math has never been my strong suit. I barely passed it in high school, so I'll just let you decide on the outcome. Either way, it inevitably becomes a folded in half car and most likely fatalities, which is not good for anyone. Another lack of education is the general motoring public getting angry at trucks just for being on the road. They move too slow. Why don't they drive the speed limit? Well, it's because with the exception of owner-operators, almost all the trucks currently operating on the roadways are governed. Most of those are governed in their 60s. The driver is most likely driving the truck as fast as the truck will let him go. You think that's bad now, though? As it turns out, car drivers are trying to pass legislation to govern all trucks in the United States to 65 miles an hour or slower. All trucks, including owner-operators. Wow. Oh my God. Can you imagine being in an 80-mile-an-hour zone and every truck on the highway is going that slow? And the sad part is the very same people that are voting yes to this will also be the ones complaining about the congestion after it happens. And believe me, you think congestion's bad now? Whew. Yeah. Okay, wait until every truck is driving that slow. Now, one of my favorites is the argument of, we need less trucks on the road. There are too many trucks. Why are there so many trucks? Okay, well, that one's easy. quit buying stuff. The more people buy stuff, the more trucks are needed to ship that stuff. And we're not out here joyriding. We're trying to work hard to fill the shelves that everyone keeps emptying. And by everyone, I do mean everyone, truck drivers included. Don't tell me you don't buy stuff when you go to the truck stop. I mean, come on. And your families and whatnot. Anyway, I've spent plenty of time harking on car drivers, and by now you're probably thinking I've turned this into a truck versus car rant video. It is a rant video, but guess what? I'm now addressing you truckers. All right, so first and foremost, remember everything I just explained about education for car drivers. We need to remember that before you got your CDL, unless you were involved with trucking in some way or had extended exposure to it, you were probably just as ignorant and just as unaware of the dangers of sharing the road with trucks irresponsibly. I was. Thinking back to when I was younger, I cut in front of trucks really short distances. It wasn't, and I always liked truck drivers, but I just didn't realize, it just didn't dawn on me. I was, of course, being a younger guy driving, yeah, we all did it. If anybody says they always drove perfect around the other side, I call you out on being a liar. Sorry, but you are. Anyway, we have to remember, though, that not everyone's trying to be a total pain to us on the road. In fact, a lot of the folks that do stupid stuff around us really have no clue what they're doing. It's not that they hate trucks or truck drivers. They just have no clue what they're doing is anything but normal. Okay, so anyway, this is a huge emphasis on saying that instructors, or on the saying that instructors are always saying, all right? We've all heard the mantra, drive not only for yourself, but for the other drivers as well. It's the whole drive defensively thing, because they're not professional drivers. And it's true. We're supposed to be the professional drivers. We're supposed to be the ones remembering that the public is not aware, not educated, and that we need to be extra careful around this. Also, as a professional driver, you should not be lowering yourself to the same standards brought on by lack of education, ignorance, and impatience. Come on, just because you get cut off or honked at by a motorist, you do not have the right to retaliate in kind. In fact, we have less right. Our vehicles are way more dangerous and way easier to lose control of. In fact, it's even more reason to back off and let the person go. Focus on getting your cargo to safety. Your paycheck is getting from point A to point B, not taking out some asshole on the side of the road. And to the truckers who in general use their truck to bully their way around the road, shame on you. Seriously, I hear it all the time, the BS excuse. We have to drive that way, otherwise the four-wheelers will walk all over us. Okay. No, we don't have to drive that way, and all that does is add to the problem. Fuel to the fire, anyone? Jumping in the frying pan? I could think of a million other ways to put it. I mean, come on, remember, we're supposed to be the professionals. Want the four-wheelers to drive better? By the way, for anybody watching a video that's a non-trucker, a four-wheeler is the trucker term for a car. So, just so you know. Anyway, or a non-semi-truck. Anyway, you want the four-wheelers to drive better? Here's a great idea. Educate them. Seriously, don't blindly make them angry. That helps no one and does nothing but cause accidents, trigger harsher regulations, and make life harder for the rest of us. I get it, friends, I do. I gotta resist the urge to run over the car that just about shaved off my bumper when there were no cars behind him anyway. I hate that with a passion. We all have emotions. It's so easy for others to trigger those emotions, but again, we are the professionals, and we are supposed to be focusing on educating others and not belittling them or antagonizing the situation. Don't forget, you volunteered for this. No one forced you. You had plenty of other career options. You still do. And if all you can do is add fuel to the fire, you need to find another profession. Do it fast before you kill somebody. Anyway, I could go on forever, but I think I've made my point. I appreciate you guys watching. I'd say like and subscribe, but instead, if you really do like this video, please reach out to your local lawmakers. Push for better education when it comes to driving. We need more education. No one can correct a potentially fitted... Can't even talk. Anyway, no one can correct a potentially fatal situation if they have no clue. It's a potentially fatal situation. I mean, come on. We all have families, we all have loved ones. We need to work together to make sure that they don't become the victims of ignorance, both from truck drivers and car drivers, and that we get home safely to see them. All right. Anyway, that's enough. I'll let you guys go. Stay safe, everyone. See you in the next show, and I appreciate you watching.